Hey, what's up, everybody? I wanted to come on here and make a quick video, impromptu, less formatted type of video. But I wanted to talk about the end of the year or the word of the Lord's for the following year, or just that practice of giving a word of the Lord for the next year or the end of the year, 2025 prophecies, stuff like that, right? We're hours away from stepping into a new year. I have goals, you have goals, got goals for this channel, we got goals for our lives, etc. But one thing that's always common within church culture, at least probably as far as I've been concerned, the last couple of years, but I know this practice of giving a word of the Lord or whatever has been going on for definitely more than the last 20 years, maybe 20, 30, 40 years. People have been doing end of the year prophecies. It's taken its shape in the social media age where, I typed in end of the year word of the Lord on Google as I was trying to formulate a thumbnail, see how I was going to formulate my thumbnail. And I seen several prophets, prophetesses, pastors, whatever, giving words of the Lord for the new year. Several TikTok videos popped up of people giving words of the Lord for the new year, right? And that's commonplace, right? Every year for especially let's just say the last five. For the last 5 years, every year, pastors, preachers, teachers, prophets get on YouTube, get in their churches, and give a word of the Lord, right? This is a practice that I was never accustomed to before I started kind of serving in church and being a part of a church culture where, a pastor or a prophet, etc., would give a word of the Lord. This is the year of the rebound. This is the year of the kingdom. This is the year of abundance. This is the year of the recharge. This is the year of the X-ray. This is the year of more than enough. This is the year of being a more than a conqueror. This is the year of such and such, right? And for years, people have been placing their stamps, or what they say is God's stamps, on a new year that is approaching, right? And everybody's so excited. Everybody is so charged to see what God is telling them for the new year, right? But is our end of the year word of the Lord's 2025 or the following year prophecies biblical, right? And I'm not going to say it's not biblical, but you don't see it, right? So because we don't see it and the Bible's kind of silent on a word of the Lord or the end of the year type of prophecy, we don't know whether or not God is for or against this type of stuff, right? We know God is for prophecy because it says to desire to desire prophecy, right? In 1 Corinthians 14. So we are to desire the gifts of the Spirit. We are to desire prophecy. So we know that God is not against prophecy or Him giving prophecies to His people. We know that much, right? But the overconsumption and the overloading of end of the year word of the Lord's is just kind of fishy and sketchy to me, because one of the things is, like, do we have to give a word of the Lord to our respective communities? Do we have to? It's not in the Bible to, right? But it's commonplace in church culture. So pastors and preachers alike feel pressured to come up with something because the church down the street got one, and Mike Todd might have one. I don't know if he does, or your favorite YouTuber might have one, or say that this is what God is saying for 2025, right? What's with the strong desire to, like, want to know, like, oh, this is going to be the year of such and such? What is with that, right? To me personally, I think the overconsumption and the desire for a prophetic word for the new year is like disguised in a couple of things. One, you could say it's it's been common practice for years now, so people will just come to expect God to have something to say at the end of the year or the beginning of the year. But we have His word, right? We know God still speaks today. He's not speaking canonical, but we know God still speaks today, but we have his word. So where's the idea that God is supposed to give you a word of the Lord at the end of the year coming from, right? But then I also think people may be in certain situations, people may be in turmoil in their own lives, and the shifting to a new year kind of gives you, or kind of gives the believer hope, right, for the next year, right? Hope that it's going to be great. So with that hope and with that desire for things to change in their own lives, spiritually speaking, the climate within church culture is people wanting to know what God is going to do for the next year, what God is going to bring to them in the next year, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that's where we have seen, like, the word of the Lord has become so popular in culture. But I also think that this is a symptom of people are obsessed with the prophetic, right? And I'm not talking about a good, healthy, like, desire of prophecy, but I'm talking about the unhealthy desire, to where you're looking for a prophecy every single day. Um I broke this down a little bit on a video on my channel before, when I was talking about prophecy, and how there's hundreds and hundreds of prophets on YouTube that have a word from the Lord every single day, right? And we should be cautioning ourselves to not to say this is a word from the Lord every single time we're saying it, because it's like you're literally saying that God is telling you this. And if God is telling you this and it does not happen, then you're going to look like a fool, right? But what a lot of these online prophets do is they heap you with prophecies. So they prophesy to you so much so that you're swimming in prophecies, so that you cannot tell when the last prophecy that they gave you, whether or not it would come to pass, because they just uploaded a new one, right? And it seems the same way to me when it comes to the word of the Lord. It's like we have a lot to say. Like, why, if we're one body, right? Granted, there's millions of churches, and we're one body. How can we have millions of churches in one body, yet everybody is saying that this is the year of something else, something different, right? This person over here saying it's the year of the recharge, and this person over here saying it's the year of abundance, and this person over here says this is the year of next, and this is person over here says this is the year of superabundance, right? How can we decipher which one is which, right? The issue with this is they're uploading this on YouTube, right? If you're gonna do a word of the Lord, at least in my opinion, if you're going to do a word of the Lord for the year of 2025 for your specific church, and you believe this is what God is saying to your specific church, don't upload it online. Don't upload it online. Keep that in your house and on your Instagram page for your followers, and go about your business, right? If this is, you're uploading this to YouTube for the world to see, it confuses the body, because we have hundreds of different people saying different things, and more than likely half of it, or more than half of it's probably not going to come to pass, and more than half of it probably wasn't a word of the Lord. It was probably somebody's imagination. They had a dream, they have an obsession with the prophetic, etc. So they are constantly seeking new words from God, and they're constantly trying to find new words from God, and they stumble upon whatever it is that they put out that this says this is the word of the Lord, right? So I would caution us from, like, saying this is the word of the Lord for 2025, or this is what God is going to be doing in the next year, excuse me. We have right here everything that God is going to do and that he wants to do, right? While I understand you're talking from a specific point, don't try to deviate from this, because when you deviate from this, it makes the waters muddy, right? When you, instead of doing a word of the Lord for 2025, why not say this is our goal as a church family for 2025, or Our goal for the church is for us to collectively lose 1,000 pounds, or collectively give $1 million, lose 1,000 pounds, and give away and give away $500,000. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up. But let's go with that for a change. Let's not go with this is the year of the word of the Lord, etc. Because if it does not come to pass, you will look like a fool, right? And the Bible tells us to test the spirits and to test prophecy and to judge prophecy. So if you're saying something out of the ordinary and it does not come to pass, like, it shouldn't be, oh well, I just miss God. No, let's try to become more accurate when we come to the prophetic. So this video kind of went longer than I wanted it to, but I just wanted to talk about like end of the year word of the Lord's, and it's always been a question that I've had. I've interviewed a guy by the name of Pastor TD Newkirk on my channel, and I asked him this question. We were talking about prophecy, and I asked him this question. I'm like, where is this coming from? And he gave me the answer that people's faiths are so charged at the end of the year for a word from God, that who is God not to speak? Who is God not to give a word, right? And while I can see that and somewhat agree with that, it's still just like, why is the church so obsessed with end of the year revelations or end of the year words? And like I said, I believe it's steeped in an unhealthy obsession with the prophetic. And the prophetic isn't something like you can just like snap your fingers and prophesy. Like, that's not the prophetic, right? But when you get on YouTube and you get on social media and everybody has, oh, this is the word of the Lord for the year, it's like, it sounds like it's like a bunch of like quick, fast, in a hurry prophecies. Like God, I don't, how come he ain't speaking to me like that? Why he ain't speaking to me like that, and my family like that, right? So yeah, I just wanted to encourage you, if you're a leader watching this, don't don't feel bad about not having an end of the year word of the Lord. You have your end of the year word of the Lord right here for every year up until Jesus comes back or till you die. You have your end of the year word of the Lord right here. Um, and if God does give you a word for your church, then share it, right? But don't don't build up this unhealthy obsession with prophecies and with desiring prophecies, because at that point you're giving like credence for something other than the Holy Spirit to be able to talk to you, to give you words, because you're so obsessed with that, right? So I just want to come on here and say that and ask that question and put that in the comments. Like, yo, like, if you're a person out here who you feel the same way, let me know in the comments. If you feel differently, you feel like God has to give his people a word every single year, then let me know how you feel in the comments. I'm just throwing this out here, throwing a bone out here. Like, hey, what's with all the prophecies? What's with all the 2025 word of the Lord's, right? Some of them can't be right, right? Some of them probably are, but some of them probably aren't. But where does this start? Why are we doing this, etc.? So let me know in the comments down below. I got a new video dropping for y'all tomorrow, talking about legalism. It's already on the page, scheduled to drop tomorrow, so that's gonna be a fun one, talking about legalism. It's about an hour long. I plan on breaking up those videos. Like, I talked about 11 different questions, so I'm probably gonna make 11 different videos on each question. But yeah, we got new content coming, more content coming. I hope you guys have a blessed and prosperous 2025. I know I will, and I know I'm believing for a blessed and prosperous 2025. And I'll check back in with you guys for more content. Peace.